I'm sorry about that. I just had the wrong window open. But now you can see the image I'm going to edit. This is the image I'm going to edit. And like I said before, I'm just going to remove all the blemishes and whatnot from this image. If this will decide to cooperate with me. Here, I'm going to go big face mode again. Sure. Here we go. So first we're going to get started by removing all the blemishes and adding a little bit of color, yeah. Whoops. Alright. So I'm going to replace this gray here, this like grayish color down here. Just take this little color replace tool. What we want to do is we want to take the color picker, grab here, and then, so grab here, this color. Now that's the color we want, right? we're going to add that to here. And by the way, this live stream is 7 seconds behind, like every other live stream. But what we're going to do is we're going to blend here. Whoops. These are the ones to select instead of blend. Brush it. All right. All right. First, we want to emphasize those blues a bit. So we're going to bring it down -10 to -10 here, and then increase the saturation to 25. See how the blue just popped? Okay. Look at how much just brighter and more vibrant, just from changing a little bit of the hue and saturation, just from the regular image that it can do. It just does a world of good. There we go. Now, we're going to fix that grass right here. There we go. That's better. Okay. Basically, we're just going to make this grass look a whole lot better. See as all this brown fades away, you want to just make it look perfect. Isn't that the goal? The goal is to make this look very nice. So basically what I did to make this work is I used the keyboard shortcut and went to the color replace tool, grabbed the color picker, chose the color of the grass just by clicking on the grass, and got the grass color. And now I'm going to just fill everything, every part of the grass that's gray, and just make it like the grass is greener on the other side. And I know it's a realistic grass color because it's directly from the grass. You can't even tell that there was once dead grass there. This is going to take me a minute, but that's basically the idea of this. You just want to replace all of the gray blemishes with the green. The blemishes in the grass will become features of it. And of course I'm going to leave a little bit, just a little bit, of that gray just to touch like at the root. See how there are like just little specks of gray. That stuff I may not want to completely cover up, because that'll kind of ruin the effect of giving it a real grassy look. But otherwise, looks pretty good, huh? This photo. Alright. Now I'm back and ready to save this photo again. Okay. So, now that we've removed all of the blemishes that we need to in the grass, we can move on to other things. We've made the tone brighter. Just the tone of it. It's very saturated now and has a lot of drama. You just want to add that drama to a photo, and this blue in the sky is very nice as well. So everything looks more clear and crisp just from those simple edits. Now, contrast isn't something you want to mess with too much, because that's what happens when you add too much contrast. It just totally messes up the whole photo. This is what it looks like with no contrast. And this is what it looks like with a lot of contrast. Whoops. That's what it looks like with a lot of contrast. So you just want to barely add like maybe 4. And then along with that, make it a little bit brighter, because we're looking for those cool colors, because this is a tropical climate. So we want to add those like nice blues, darker blues, and make those greens also sharper. So make it a 15 brightness. Now that's a little bit too much. Or we can do -2. Yeah. Let's do -6. Or 4. Yeah. Let's go -4 here. So +4 with the contrast, so you can have more crisp colors, but you don't want to take away the whole thing. And then take a -4 brightness to just add a little bit more drama to that photo, okay? Now, see, this is like a beach photo. I don't even know where this is at this point, but it's a beautiful beach photo. It's calming, relaxing. And out in the distance, you see this light blue beach. You can make that water dark blue, but I don't really recommend it too much. But I do recommend a little bit of color fixing for the beach. So, as we can see, the main color right now is the color of the beach, because I just used the color picker to select that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a little bit of color replacing in the background, not too much. Don't overdo the color replace, trust me. If you overdo it, you'll know, but it's definitely not something you want to overdo. Something you want to do a little bit of, just like a touch, just to make it a little bit more vibrant. We could even darken this a little bit. See how light this is? Bring it down just a touch. And I mean like, even that's a little bit much. But just bring it down. Don't bring it down to the point where it gets gray or anything. Just bring it down a little bit, and just move it a little bit if we're going to change the hue a little bit, like saturation. make it more saturated. Because that's the goal for this. We're going to add drama and make it more saturated. We don't want to make it super light, but we don't want to make it super dark. We don't want to make it look unrealistic. That's a good color. And I just learned that this is a photo from Mexico. And I'm just going to add a little bit, just a little bit towards the outer ocean area. See, it's not that much. You can see it like if I went over here. But it's just enough to give it that extra oomph, right? Look at the difference between this and this. It's just a little bit deeper. Again, you don't want to overdo it, or else it'll kind of look really bad. And you can like see inside. And sorry for like going in a bit, but you can see that in this photo there's a little bit of that sort of saturated look. Okay, perfect. Just changing the brush size so I can redo that, because I don't want that much color replacement. I just want a little bit on the edges. Just a little bit towards the edges. Just towards the open ocean. Be careful that you're not doing it too close to the interior. Yeah, even that was a little bit too dark. Here. I'll re-blend it real quick with the other color. You can even make a little bit of the color of the ocean reflect barely into the sky. Just a little bit into the bottom of the sky. Again, it's all about like drama. You want to add drama to the photo. Drama saturation. That's the key. Anyway, I will be back in just... Alright. Sorry I had a issue real quick, but I'm back. Now, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go over and show you how to just make the clouds a little bit more vibrant. And then we're just about done with this photo. Alright, then we'll get started, and then we'll get going. This is what the sponge does. It just kind of makes things more vibrant. I just wanted to show you on the ocean, because that's one of the better places to do it. If I do it up here, it's a little bit too much. per se. So that's why it's a good place to do, like when you have done it in the ocean and places like that. That's the more logical and better choice to do. And I can always go back to this if I want to use it. Oops. That's what I meant to do. I meant to smudge it, not sponge it. I just wanted to make sure that I was doing the right thing. So now what we're going to do is we're going to use the smudge tool to make things a little bit, just say, nicer in a way. You can say nicer, but that's about all I'm going to use the sponge tool for, or smudge tool for. Just do a little bit on the top, because if you overdo it, this is what happens. And yes, I will be removing that in like 5 seconds. Take that little smudge tool you got here, take it here, and then just go across the top a little bit. Just for a little bit of blending. You'll see why we do that in just a second. The smudge tool is probably the best tool you want to use when you're blending and an amateur. When you're beginning to use Photoshop and you want to blend, the smudge tool is your best friend. Would you look at that? I'm a poet and I didn't even know it. And then again, see, when you have the strength a little bit high, kind of messes up a little bit. So it's like a good tool to blend with, but again, you have to use it very lightly. Just a tap here and a tap here. You don't really have to go all straight up smudge like that. It's not particularly what this tool is intended for. Now, here is where it gets a little bit trickier. It's not very hard at all. It just gets a little bit tricky to brighten colors. You can always use the color replace tool, which I'll show you that method instead. But drama is key when you're talking about these photos. So one. Gonna add a little filter here just to show a little bit of a blue-ish filter. Let's go down into the blues. It's too light. That's better. And just a little bit, like 3 is more than enough. Let's go 1, even 1. It's very light. Just gives that a little blur. Unless in this, oh, there is actually a blur. So then I'll remove that filter because I wasn't sure if there was a blur filter. I didn't see. So there. Now there's a little bit of a blur. just a touch. If you look at the difference, there's not much. Just look at how the colors just become slightly more dramatic. Take a look at the bottom of the screen, for example. It just becomes slightly darker with the blur filter. Nothing too much. As well, I may show you how to add text, just depending, but to intensify the clouds, just take your trusty brush tool after you've selected the darkest color you can find that's actually in this photo. So we're going to take the darkest of the light sky, if that makes sense, and we're going to do a little bit of color therapy to it. Just a little bit. Clouds are one of the hardest things to do because if you do too much of it, it doesn't look realistic whatsoever. And you have to be careful in which spots you do them. Alright, now I'm just adding a little bit on the clouds, on the darker ones. And that is about it. Just gonna do the dark on the clouds. And then we'll be adding a little bit of text. Just a touch. And we'll change it to a darker blue. Or even we'll just make it almost black. Like super dark blue. Okay. Right? You can change the font. It's like a regular text, like if you were gonna go into Google Drive per se. Just change the text to something nice. Just gonna go to next medium italic, and then we'll make this nice and big. And I'm just gonna add a year. Alright. Rocky Point, Mexico, 2018. Right? Now we'll just drag this to where we want it to be. Alright. Rocky Point, Mexico, 2018. That's the text. And voila. Now I'm just gonna save this. I'm just gonna save that onto my computer this time. We're gonna put it to max quality. Save it as a JPEG. And then we can do a before and after. So that's the whole photo. Just move this back to where it was. Whoops. This is the after. I will get you a before and after in just a quick second. Just setting up a before and after view for you guys, sorry. All right, so that's the after photo. And here is the before photo. And this is after.